The Bite Me podcast is coming right up, and it is brought to you every week right here on YouTube by Freedom Boats. It is the best shallow running boat on the water, and there is a model perfect for you. The Chiquita 14, the Eagle 16, the Patriot 18, the Commander 21, the beautiful Warrior like I have 23, or the big boy that runs so shallow, the General 26. Chet Moore and Pooty can customize it however you'd like, and there's a dealer near you, whether it's the Boatyard in Kemah or dealerships in San Antonio, Beaumont, Corpus Christi, Port O'Connor, Houston, and Aransas Pass. Freedom Boats or freedomboatsusa.com. Welcome into the Bite Me podcast. This is John Lopez. That is Captain Caleb. Captain Caleb Montgomery will be joining us here in a second. That is Captain Dean Thomas. That is Captain Scott Knoll. And, we're not online together. We like to just hop on and get into the show here with all our great listeners. But we have a couple of little conversations here and there. How's it going, et cetera, et cetera. And Captain Dean just said, his computer hasn't updated in years, and he doesn't know what a cache is, but his cache is full. So a little help here on the live stream, if you will. If you want to tell Captain Dean and explain what the full cache means and why he
I didn't know this computer. I didn't know this computer had money in it.
That's right. Caleb joining us now. I don't know if you heard that, but Dean is long overdue for a computer update. We're talking about how you just hopped on because your computer was updating. And he said, hadn't happened in years, but I know my cache is full. So
I've got a full cache.
I got a full cache. We'll figure out what that is. Hey, a couple particulars here before we get started. Got a really good show planned for you guys today. The particulars being, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. That's always important. You can subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. Of course, you can watch it live on YouTube. Every week we record at 3:30 p.m. on Tuesdays, posted on all the podcast platforms about 6 p.m. So you're good either way, whether you want to watch it live or pick it up later. But you can subscribe to iTunes, Spotify, and of course, Podbean, where we host it. And you can subscribe and get updates and listen to every show we've ever done. And Bite Me group page, 11,500. We've blown past that in terms of the number of listeners that are now members of the community. We always call it a community. If you're new to it, it's really cool. It's a lot of fun to do it. But either way, thanks for joining us. Am I missing anything? Oh, Captain Dean is wearing some Bite Me gear. He's got his little, I guess that's the salmon color, Bite Me hooded dry fit. So there you go. You can get that.
Yeah, very stylish.
Very stylish, very comfortable. I think it's 50 SPF or whatever those numbers are. I don't know what my cache is either. But here we are. Let's get started. Let's get rolling with this week's episode. All right, so Dean texted this shortly before we got in here today, and I thought it was appropriate because on my regular day job on Sports Radio 610, talking sports and such, we actually brought this up today, and what I said is, I got nothing. We were talking about New Year's resolutions, and I actually like to kind of, do a New Year's resolution every year, even though, you probably break it and bust it by the time you get to the end of January. But I've had good years where I've kept my resolution for a while. But fishing related, I'm guessing, is what Dean was talking. But I got nothing with the New Year's resolution. What were you talking about there, Dean?
Man, I was thinking about that. And so, everybody wants to do like something good to improve themselves. And then I heard the statistic that like most people that they last on average 16 days. That's what people's resolutions last.
That's me.
I was thinking kind of just the opposite. Instead of like trying to, improve or do something, I was thinking like, I'm going to maybe eat more tacos this year.
That's still a resolution.
Or I was thinking about taking up cigarettes. Something of that nature.
Yeah, my goal this year is to gain 25 pounds.
Exactly.
I know I can do it. I can do it. Maybe even by the end of January, like my other resolution. I don't know if you guys, I always talk about, Scott, like a New Year's resolution to me, I always feel compelled to do it because it's like getting to the back nine when you're playing golf. You're like, all right, that's all done. Refresh. I'm going to be hitting them, long and straight this nine. So it's kind of like that. You got anything that you're working on? Anything fishing related?
My garage shop and fishing room is going to get done.
It's gonna get done.
Gonna get
Here's the
done.
thing.
You
Here's the
got
thing about
16 days.
you got 16 days to finish it.
And we're already on the 6th.
But the problem with that though, Dean, is Scott's the kind of guy that will do it. He'll do both of those things.
Yeah, he probably will.
And probably get it done in not much longer than 16 days. So we'll see about that. Caleb,
me and
go
Doug
ahead.
Pike had a bet going that I would get my house built, completed, and moved in before he would clean his garage, which he's been talking about for about 10 years on air.
Yeah.
And the bet was I was going to take him fishing if he won, or he was going to take me to play golf on one of his special fancy golf courses.
Yeah.
I won. He still hasn't finished his garage. We've been in the house almost 2 years.
Have you played golf yet?
No, we haven't even gone to play golf yet.
Well,
He hadn't paid up.
make that a resolution. Caleb, I'm interested in yours. Your New Year's resolution.
Man, mine's a pretty tall order.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna try to get the lights working on my trailer. The zip tie is holding the license plate on went out on 31st, but I got that fixed, so I can't use that as a resolution. So lights is what it is. I got to fold the wire just right behind the little flapper on the bumper.
Yeah, I know exactly.
The whole left side's
about.
gone.
Yep. I know exactly what you're talking about. But you're way to set the bar high there, buddy.
It's tough.
I'm
I'm
going to
talk about
some lights.
That garage can be clean before I do it.
I want a legal trailer. Just one.
Yeah. I want to abide by the law.
The thing is, like, I'm looking. I have one of those little mail storage things by my desk over there, and I've got 3 license plates in it from my last 3 boats because they never went on the trailer, and not once did I get pulled over because I think the cops around here just expect a boat trailer to not have one, or a trailer. Yeah, a boat trailer. Those things get ripped off. So why fix the lights? You can't even keep a piece of aluminum working. Yeah,
but some I've been stopped, I think, twice with the lights. I'm pretty good at keeping them on, but they always go out. Some of those officers of the law are pretty anal about that. They watch the trailers go by. Scott, you might be able to talk to this, and they look specifically at license plates and trailer lights. And
safety chains.
chain.
I got that privilege card. I don't get pulled over for lights.
That was never my gig, man. I was looking for stolen cars.
No, I know, but I'm saying I've seen some where you can just tell them turning their heads and looking. I'm surprised they don't have binoculars.
Here's the thing.
I got pulled over once for the safety chains not being hooked up, and I was like, "What? That's the best you got?" I'm like, "Hey, I'm cool."
I mean, it's a target-rich environment for a cop looking for somebody who's been drinking driving home. It really is.
Yes.
No.
Boy, especially back in the day, man. There was some stupid stuff that happened back in the day. There is something of a topic there. We won't get into it, but just in terms of getting stopped and trailer lights and all that. But I know for a fact that when you're trailering your boat, I sure wish that cop would have stopped me for not having my. Oh no, I did have. That's what saved my ass when my trailer fell off of the ball in Liberty. It was the safety chains that saved it from who knows what. But all right, so the funniest thing you've seen out on the water, either this week or recently, Dean brought it up, but then we had some funny stuff posted on the group page, which of course I mentioned earlier. But Dean, why are you bringing this up? I know there's got to be a story there. You're always getting into something over there.
And it was one of those things that you wouldn't have been expected to be so hysterical. So I had a husband and wife on the boat, and just through random conversation, we were talking about people getting hooked and taking hooks out of people and just hooks in general. And it wasn't 5 minutes later, they're both up on the front of the boat, and she rears back and lets one rip and didn't get his skin, but stuck the hook right in the back of his shirt. I mean, pow! And she laughed so hysterically. I thought she was going to fall off the boat. I mean, it was just one of those things where she was laughing so hard, and I was concerned for the dude. I was like, "Oh God!" I was like,
the medical kit out.
We karma'd this hook right into his back, but it was just in his shirt. And for such a near miss. It was absolutely hilarious.
I want to hear what Scott and Caleb have to say about this, but I've told the story on this show before about my brother-in-law did the same thing, cast, and the barb and the hook stuck in the back of his head, like all the way in, so they couldn't get it out. The barb was basically in his skull. So they go to the that is not fun. So they go into the emergency room, walk in, towel or napkins or whatever, holding it in there. And the first thing the doctor in the emergency room does is cut the line at the hook. He had the hook, the line, and the rod walking into he walked into the emergency room holding the rod with the line hooked and the hook in the back of his head. I could just see him walking in there.
That's like a scene out of Beetlejuice.
I said, you could have cut that on the boat,
How did he get through the car?
I know, he had it in the truck. He had the rod. Hold the truck. Hold the rod in the back. Hold the rod in the back. He had them all. I wish. And this was
so traumatized. He wasn't thinking clearly.
I mean, that happens, but still,
like, I'll get this fishing pole out of my head.
And he was with my sister. It was my brother-in-law and sister-in-law fishing. They go down to Port O'Connor all the time, Scott. They fish there a lot. So look for the guy holding a rod with a hook stuck in the back of his head. But she was holding the rod and he was yelling at him and she was yelling at him. I mean, he was yelling at her and she was yelling at him, but somebody was holding the rod the whole drive from Port O'Connor to the emergency.
It's impressive.
It's so good. We never let him forget that. It's been 20 years. I mean, this was basically before smartphones. But man, I wish there was some around back then. Caleb, I know you probably had one of them, but they are scary when you're captaining, especially. You, as Dean said, you kind of think, oh boy, get the medical kit out. But what have you had?
I had a guy rear back. He was behind me, and he stuck me between the shoulder blades with the top water, and then put enough into it that he broke a rod.
Oh boy!
And I think I really freaked him out when I finagled some pliers around and yoinked it out, because that's the kind of insurance fishing guides have. But the crappiest part is one of my rods.
Oh yeah, so that's what you're mad about.
Yeah, I spend people, unless you fish with me, it's kind of hard to picture what I do. But I'm on a burn bar way up in the air behind the people fishing, and this 21-foot boat I have does everything I want except get the money makers away from the path of that jig head every cast.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't believe some of the moves I've made on an 8-inch by 14-inch piece of starboard up there.
Little hip swivel.
Oh, dude, it'll keep you on your toes, both figuratively and literally.
Funny though, my insurance covers self-extraction.
I mean, they're not going to do much different. It's just going to be numb or something when they do it. Let's just get it over with.
Yeah. So the question is, funniest things kind of morphed into the hooks. But Scott, I'm curious on you. I was talking about some of the things on this. Caleb had me laughing about this because you had a hell of a trip with I think it was a couple, and you posted it on our group page and on your Facebook, where she caught, was it an 11.5 pound redfish?
Oh yeah. Speaking of funny things, that was a brother and a sister, and I can't name any particular moment, but one of the funniest things I saw was the brother trying to keep his cool, teaching his sister how to redfish up on the front of the boat.
And she's got 11.5.
She had 3 slots over 11. The first, the one that I posted was 11.5, and it was barely over 27 3/4. And she caught it, and she gets it up there, and I'm I've sucked all the wind. There wasn't a ripple in the water because I sucked all the wind out of the bay whenever I saw that fish.
Yeah.
And her brother looks at me and says, trouble is she has no idea what this is.
That's what had me laughing. She said, "Is that a good one?"
Well, that's what it was. He said she has no idea what this is, and she looks at, she goes, "Is that a good one?"
yeah, that's a good one.
and to even make it even more of a wild first timer deal, man, that was on New Year's Eve. It was the water temp, I think, was 51 when the morning started. My boat's covered in spider webs. It wasn't a good positive bite. The fish were all pretty spooky, except those 3 hammers that she caught. One of them came up to the boat, and she didn't even have to reel. She just stuck her lure in the water and jigged it.
Oh, I saw that video.
Yeah, it's wild. She had them trained for her.
She needs to get back out on the water and realize that she's good at this. She's lucky anyway. And then our guy Dylan McWilliams, he caught a mullet on a soft plastic, which I've seen done before. I don't think I've ever done, but I've seen done before. So some funny stuff out on the water. Scott, I haven't gotten to you yet. What's coming to mind?
I had father and son out this week. They were a lot of fun. They're just them busting on each other, and I've known him so long. This kid's a junior in college. I've been fishing since he was 7, 8 years old. So I got a lot of background on him, but hell of a fly fisherman. But his dad hooked himself. God, Larry, I guess he probably hooked himself 4, 5, 6 times yesterday.
With the fly?
With the fly.
Yeah, we had a question about that. Yeah.
It was a little windy and the wind blowing aside crossways, but just those two cutting up with each other. It's so much fun to be involved with those guys. When you get the customers that are like that you've had for a long time, and you got some history, and you can bring up old stuff, like old fish that broke off or fish they missed. But the son said, "Man, I can't believe it slowed down like this. We had a really good hot start. I mean, just school after school of tails, and he was on the bout. He kept missing. He finally lands one. Then it's his dad's turn. There wasn't hardly anything left, and it slowed down a lot. And later on, he says, "Yeah, I can't believe you can't get one." He says, "Well, I only missed a couple of them early." And his dad looked at him, was like, "There was at least 8 schools there, buddy."
Yeah.
That's where you connected.
That's all you saw.
Yeah. And he said, "Oh, those schools weren't very big, though. It was only a couple fish." I said, "Not from up here."
It was more than a couple.
It was 20, 30 fish in each school, man.
Yeah.
He's just ducking his head. And
yeah. I guess when the fly fisherman, and I hadn't thought about it, but I think Perry brought it up. He's surprised you don't get hooked by the fly. That's got to be a regular occurrence with flies.
Oh, dude, it's constant. I mean, that's stand up. He talked about being on the burn bar. Try being on that polling platform. You ain't got no place to go, nothing to hide behind. Those flies are whizzing past your head. But the only thing I got is my push pole. That's my
I don't even
like a lightsaber up there,
I don't even have a utensil to defend myself with. Scott, I was thinking that it's arguably worse when you get popped by a fly than getting hooked by one. At least when you get hooked by one, it's just done. Popped, you get it 5 or 6 in a row before the dude figures out what he's doing to you.
You get a bruise.
It sucks.
I always watch their casting in the beginning, to kind of get an idea if it's somebody new. I had a new guy, and his casting was terrible. I mean, he was scaring the crap out of me in the first 5 minutes. And it was windy, and he had no idea where his back cast was going. And so I said, "Hey, man, swing that fly around over here for a minute." He swings it over, and I grip my pliers out, and I bend the barb down. And he said, "Man, you can't do that. I can't catch a fish if you bend the barb down." I said, "It'll work just fine. Just keep pressure on it. It'll be good." So as windy as it is, you're liable to hook something here for too long. It whizzed past me 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Just making it weedless.
He complained about it, and then within about 5 minutes, he hooked himself deep right in the back of the neck.
Oh,
it would have gone past the barb. And I hopped down. He said, "I got myself." And I hopped down. I just plucked that sucker right out with no problem. He says, "How deep was that?" I said, "Past the barb." He goes, "Okay." Changed his whole attitude.
Yeah, I guess so. And that does remind me of something. I texted you guys last week. My middle son, BG, the sicko of the bunch, he got a sawgrass fly rod. And I guess for Christmas, and he did some fly fishing in New Mexico with his I guess uncle-in-law. They went on a vacation, so he's looking for a reel and a line. But it got me thinking, he likes to kayak, and I don't know if we've ever covered this. I certainly am not the expert on this because I don't even know how to fly fish. Maybe I'll learn a little bit when he starts doing it. But what about fly fishing in a kayak? Does it have to be stand up? No. I know no. I always thought you had to stand up.
Never stood up to.
We would have to stand up, John.
Kayak.
Yeah, you and I would have to stand
Me
up,
and you.
Caleb.
Yep.
Yeah. But how does it work?
Well, the thing about with kayaking in general, you get a lot closer to the fish. You're not trying to stretch out really long casts because you're stealthy and you can get really close to the fish, and you're not expecting yourself to, to throw out 70 or 80 feet of cast, where when you're standing on the deck of the boat and you're up above the water, you can stretch that thing out and let it fly. But kayaking, you will make a lot of shorter casts.
Mm-hmm. And so, Scott, it's just, you're just going, because I know one thing you guys have told me is you don't really flick your wrist as much as you would like on a river. It's more of an arm thing. So it just kind of gets even with to the water, the fly on the back.
Yeah. I mean, you got to, if you get it in your head that you're throwing it at a 45-degree angle up on your backside, if you have that in your head, then you're laying it pretty much flat.
So 45 back, not 45.
Yeah,
everybody
thinks their fly's higher off the water than it is.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch the back cast, it's generally pretty low, and you want it to be higher. So if you get it in your head that pretend like there's a tree behind.
No, I got you. Yeah, I got you. I think that's good advice.
And you can get
the way it was. The way it was described to me on the back cast is think of that you're throwing it up over a wall. Think of a wall behind you, and you're throwing it up your back cast up and over that wall, because I mean you can't see your back cast. Normally you're looking forward and you're watching, so it is kind of thinking about what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it is, which would be so entertaining to put a fly rod into Lopez's hand.
Let's go.
The first time that ever happens, it is now you talk about some funny thing to see on the boat, man. That was it.
That's called content, Dean. That's called. I'm not a. I don't worry about my ego. I don't worry about any of that stuff. You can make fun of me all you want.
3 angles of cameras going whenever that happens.
I think I can do it now, just based on what you guys have been saying.
But it was funny that you just said, "Oh, you don't flick your wrist, right?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, well, that's a good start."
Caleb, you and me on my boat with Dean. Let's go. A little fly fishing.
Well, we'd have to do it one at a time, most likely.
Oh, speaking of nothing like that. This is a game changer, people. Show your boat how much you love it. Take it to Gulf Coast Marine Shield. When I say a complete game changer, it doesn't even do justice how much better, more efficient, and gorgeous your boat will be. New boat, older boat, big boat, or small boat. Gulf Coast Marine Shield offers incredible surface protection, from marine protection film to window film, as in your electronics, and ceramic coatings. Your boat will never look better, and it all adds up to complete protection from salt, sand, while helping protect your paint and gel coat. 832-930-5655, Gulf Coast Marine Shield. Speaking of seminar, we got the fishing show coming up next month at the end of the, 19th, I think, or 20th is when we're going to be there on the Friday at noon. So if you want to come hang out with the fellas, and it's the day after we get back from Costa Rica. So we get back from Costa Rica noon the next day.
February what?
I think it's the 19th, if I'm remembering it correctly, 19th or 20th, somewhere in there. So come hang out. And we're not going to do the thing where we pass the microphone and record a show. We're just going to do a straight Q&A. You guys are going to do a seminar. I'm going to maybe advance the conversation as I see fit or it seems necessary. And we're just going to have some fun. We'll bring some stickers, and I'm sure we'll have some lures. Caleb always has some goodies that he can pass out for people that ask questions. But you guys looking at the calendar? I don't have my calendar open, but it's that Friday at noon, the Friday of the Friday of the fishing show. It is the, I'm looking at it right now, 20th. It is February 20th at noon, and I know we'll be landing the day before from Costa Rica, but I don't know if Dean has to bug out back to the house or not. But if not, we'll all be there. If he does, Caleb and Scott and I will be there at noon. It's always fun. So be a part of that. Now, let's move on to, you got something? It sounded like you were saying something, Caleb.
It's not on Valentine's Day this year. I wasn't going to say anything, but that's what I noticed.
We're going to be in Costa Rica on Valentine's Day, which that's a lot of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
That is a lot of pressure.
Somebody said they don't celebrate Valentine's Day in Costa Rica, so we're good to go.
Oh, we're off the hook. Hell yeah.
It's in America.
We are off the hook. I think the ladies should just stay home and cook for us when we go fishing. Wait, I'm hearing the peanut gallery in the background.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, she's not agreeing with you at all.
Well, you can give them an American Holiday Appreciation Week.
Hey, when in Costa Rica, do as the Costa Ricans do. Pura vida, as they say. All right, so I want to get to the next topics, but I usually do this toward the end of the show. I want to do it now because I think sometimes, you never know when people come in and out or just hop around and miss this. It is January. It is definitely different types of fishing going on. I know you guys have your calendars and your clients all booked up, but I want to emphasize to our listeners to book you three guys. I usually talked about that at the end, but Dean, Scott, and Caleb in that order. Tell me what you guys have maybe open, what you guys are doing this time of year, January, February, into March. And so our guys can book you because it's always a good thank you. It's a good way for you guys, to get good, some good run out of this podcast and this show. So, Dean, I'll start with you. How's it looking?
I'm sitting here looking at my calendar, and out of the 359 days that are available this year or left in this year, I have probably 350 open right now. I mean, at this time of year, after the holidays is when people start thinking about it. They start to book up now. But if you do have a date, if you have a window where you're thinking about fishing, it is time to make the call and get it on the calendar.
And you're down south. You're down south in Aransas Pass and that area. So what can they expect? Let's say they're looking at February before or after the show, the fishing show, maybe into March. What kind of fishing would they be looking at right now?
What do you mean, right? You mean like this week?
No, for February.
For casting, what you doing?
For February and March, what would they be looking at?
Well, this February and March is just like kind of like September and October. I mean, this morning and we had tailing fish, warm water. I mean, it's sight casting and it is tailing fish. And man, we still got mullet on the flats, bait fish. We have not had a winter where we start talking about slowing it down and slowing the presentation and letting things hit the bottom and lethargic fish. And unless something dramatic happens, I don't think we're going to have that this year.
All right, Scott, your dates and what they can expect. Port O'Connor area for those who don't know.
Yeah, Port O'Connor, and I'm going to be doing sight casting for reds all the way through in June. And then the tarpon will get here. And then I'll do tarpon from June until late October. I'll do reds too, during that period, but I concentrate on the beachfront and running near shore. I got a lot of openings just like Dean's talking about. I mean, I booked like 4 or 5 days in the last 2 or 3 days. Like he said, everybody after the first of the year, get through the holidays and all, then everybody starts thinking about it.
Yeah.
Plus, I think I had 3 different ones that had Christmas presents this year.
Yeah.
For trips. So those are get booked up. March and April, it's windy as hell. It's more of a, if you're
see what happens.
You can see a window, get in it, and then go. But I try not to book a whole lot of trips during that period, like far out, because half of them get canceled due to wind. But something else that I want to try and make clear once again, I don't just fly fish.
Yeah.
I hear it all the time. People call me up and say, "Hey man, I'd love to go fishing with you, but I don't fly fish." I do probably 75% conventional fishing.
Right.
And probably 25 or so is fly.
Yeah. And Caleb, February, March, I know you like to get in the water. Matagorda, East Matagorda, and parts unknown for you. Catch us up. I really wanted to do this week because you guys deserve it. Coming out of the holiday, there's always some openings.
Yeah, we're broke.
Yeah.
I have openings. If the wind's low, we'll go sight casting. If the wind's high, we'll go to the river and fish for trout and maybe some reds. And if the wind's medium, we'll drift the bay for trout. And then, as a lot of people know, if you truly want to optimize what you're doing, just call me, text me, message me, or something. Get on my list. Tell me what you want to do. And when I see the right conditions for it, that group of people that are on that list for that circumstance will get text. And whoever says I want it first gets to go. Then you know you don't have a day booked that's going to end up being terrible weather or something. We work around it.
Yeah, and we did have a text here from one Hawker Tech. I like that handle. Talking about tipping. I'm not going to put it on you guys unless you have a response to what I say. I always hear about tipping your guide after a trip. What is the standard ? 20%. I don't know if this is good, bad, indifferent. I just generally keep $100 bill in my pocket. Right? I mean, and just 100, whatever that is, it is. Would you guys? I know you wouldn't say no to $100, but would you say that's pretty fair?
Well, you just did this whole thing trying to get us booked and then cost us money. 20% is more than $100, but we appreciate you.
I know, but maybe I'm broke.
I played dumb and said none of us are smart enough to figure out what 20% is, but we know. I did the math in my head.
He's got his calculator out.
Yeah, $100 is awesome. 20% is awesomer, and stuff above that, we'll even like text back and forth for a couple of days and tell you jokes. That's when we left South Dakota. I tipped my guide in South Dakota $600, and all the way home he was texting us, sending us pictures. I'm like, that's how I know he's happy with it, because the fishing guide does the same thing. If you're memorable, you'll get some pictures and stuff.
I'm talking $100 for a bay fishing trip. Yeah, exactly. Not something necessarily like that. Scott, Dean, you want to put me in my place, or what are you thinking?
You're a tight ass tipper is what you are.
I bet you're a ton of fun at Chili's.
I'm a good tipper, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm a 20% guy.
You're gonna get a hair in your food is what you're gonna get.
Restaurants I do 20%. I mean, fishing guys $100. It's easy.
Any tip is always greatly appreciated. If you feel like your guide worked his ass off for you, we work for tips, man. I mean, it's we do. So it's always appreciated. I have a hard time ever putting a number on it when people ask me, what's
right. I know it's always, you look
like
different. Yeah.
Whatever you feel like is good and appropriate, it's always greatly appreciated.
No. Scott Hodge said you're a good tipper on a kayak.
Now I feel bad. I'm gonna have to up my game a little bit, because I do tip 20% at restaurants. I just never do the math on a boat.
I've never been tipped $100 and went, dang. Not once.
All right, Scott.
100's pretty standard, but you just never know. I mean, I've got guys that tip me $250. I mean, you just never know what you're going to get, and it's all appreciated. Don't expect it, and then whatever you get is a nice surprise.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's great. If we don't, I mean, I have what I have to make for the day to be worthwhile built into my price.
Sure.
Everything else gets little icons by your name that you might get that call next time. It's perfect and stuff like that. Really.
Yeah. All right. Good. I don't feel bad again. Or maybe I should. All right. So let's get into some of these topics. Let's talk about last week. I sent you guys a picture. Man, I was so frustrated, but it was unavoidable. So it was really, really cold. Was that Monday when it was really cold and windy and blowing? Note to self: write it on John's receipt.
That's the guy that owns the restaurant.
Yeah, that's Chef Gonzo. Gonzo knows I tip 20%. Gonzo knows I tip. He's gonna circle the total. He's gonna do the math.
Do the math for you. Yes. He's gonna bring you a receipt and a little calculator out there on the table.
Right. So,
gratuity included.
Yeah, he's going to start including the gratuity. So I sent you guys a picture. Monday was blowing and going and cold and stay inside. We were down in Randall's Pass, stayed inside the house, just did some honeydews and stuff. My son came down with his baby just to hang out. He knew we weren't going to go fishing that day, but then he had to leave Wednesday. And so Tuesday was a lot better wind. It was pretty calm, probably 15. But still pretty chilly, especially in the morning before the sun came out. And I said, well, let's go. Let's go. We bundled up. I put on my little Russian with the ear flaps hat that I love so much. Don't sleep on that thing. That is the best investment I ever had. When you have those ear flaps with the Velcro on the bottom, baby, that thing is warm. Anyway, so we went out, and I just knew, boy, tomorrow's going to be great. Tomorrow, you always hear about, you should have been here yesterday. We were out there thinking we should be here tomorrow. But we did scratch out a couple of nice reds. I sent you guys some pictures, but it was clearly going to be better the next day, but he had to leave. Anyhow, I say all that to say this. How was it last week? Caleb, I'm going to start with you. I think you got out there pretty early too, maybe Wednesday. But we had the big front, had the big winds, dropping temperatures, dropping water temperatures. Open-ended question for all you guys. I'm going to start with Caleb. How was it after that front?
I found it to be phenomenal. Absolutely. Yeah, I was out on Wednesday because it blew pretty hard till lunch on Tuesday. Yeah. But now when that wind subsided, it got good. And then the guys fishing for trout in deeper water did really well. Last week was good. I have no complaints. But now it's 81 outside again, so we're gonna start over again.
Well, I'm going to get to that because I do have a follow-up. But Scott and Dean, Scott, Dean, I think you were at the ranch, but from all your contacts and friends down there, was Wednesday the day? Please don't tell me, but even if you have to, because I was just killing myself for not being out there Wednesday as well.
It actually started on Wednesday.
Yeah,
and it has been really good ever since. I fished Saturday when I got back, and Saturday was a tough day for me to get them to bite. We saw reds. We bailed it out, bending some rods with some speckled trout on the drop off. But that was right at the peak of the full moon also. And so, I mean, that rhythm comes and goes a little bit. But here it is Tuesday, and I just can't tell you how amazing it was with nobody, not a soul in sight on the flats. And the redfish are jumping in the boat right now. Plus, every day that we get past the full moon, we'll get a little better this week.
So, Scott, I want to follow up with you on this. First of all, what your thoughts were post-front mid-coast there, mid-lower coast in Port O'Connor. But the question comes up, we got another front coming. Pretty good front, not as bad as last week. But we got another front coming this weekend. Some wind, lower temps. Should we expect the fish to behave the same after is the kind of the follow-up, but how was it for you?
That was good. Wasn't expecting much. And our water temperature dropped. We had that little front Saturday night into Sunday, and water temperature dropped like 17 degrees overnight. Backside of a full moon, and something they didn't mention, there's no water. The water was gone. I mean, that's the lowest tide I've seen this year. And so I'm heading out with my regulars saying, I don't know, boys, this might be a little tough start, and then the sun's going to come out, and then it's going to warm up, and then, the water temperature went from the 70s to the 60s and low or high 50s.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't expecting much. We roll up on the first place, and there's tails everywhere. I mean, they were rocking and rolling. But it pulled all those fish. That super low water pulled all the fish out of the back lakes. They were all out on the open shorelines and little small pods and moving along really good. But last week I didn't get to fish that one behind that front. I was down there with our buddy Marcus Canales.
Oh yeah,
running some deer hunts, sitting in a deer stand at 92 degrees, and then the next day it was 41. It changed rather quickly. And I wasn't exactly prepared for that. I didn't bring the clothes. So I had to borrow a jacket from Marcus. Y'all all know what size Marcus is.
Yeah, did you have to butter your elbows to get in it?
He goes walking out of the back room. He's got this jacket, and he says, "Hey, I got you this jacket here. It's way too big on me, so it should be okay for you."
Nope.
I was wearing a girdle all day, man.
Cade's clothes are way too big for Mark.
His jackets to fit around you.
So what about behavior after this front? I know other than the obvious, the drop-offs, the behavior of the fish.
I don't think it's going to change all that much. I mean, it's not a real cold front from what I'm seeing. The reds have just been staying up there shallow. I mean, I found them shallow every day.
And it needs to drop the temperature needs to drop and stay cold because the mud under the water is not getting cold. It's staying warm, and that's why it rebounds so quick. I mean, if it's only cold for, 30 minutes in the morning, it's I mean, we need if it's going to change the patterns and their behavior, it's going to have to be drop the water temperature in the 50s and keep it there for several days before we start talking about wintertime stuff.
Yeah, not to repeat what they said, but to back it up, every fish we caught last week was covered in mud on its belly, covered in sea lice. All they did was just hunker down in the mud for a little bit, and then the sun came out. And shameless plug for the boat company. I was really impressed how shallow a 21-foot JH boat would draft, because that's where we had to go to find them. They were way up there shallow and just doing their thing. So I agree with everything they said.
I was going to say the same thing, Dean. It was way out the water. I'm glad you got that.
It was gone.
It was
Saturday,
gone.
The day it was it was negative 1.2, which our normal tide that we drift around on the flats where we have good access is like 1.5, 1.7. So you're looking at 2.5 feet of water gone on flats that usually have 2 feet of water.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And I made the cut into the bay, into the flat there, just to do my little circle so I could do a good drift with the wind. And BG was looking over the side of the boat going, dang. I mean, I can't say enough. And that was a Freedom 23.
The cuts that are normally used to get on and off of those flats were bone dry. I mean, they were they were land. I mean, as we were drifting around and running, I mean, I was looking at numerous places that I usually run right across that were land.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was impressed. Shout out to Chet and the fellows over in Victoria at Freedom, because it was I had no issues, zero issues at all in there. Every once in a while in fishing, a reel comes along that changes the game. That reel is here, and if you're not using one, your friends are, and they're probably catching more fish. For sure, they're fishing with more confidence and comfort. Bates reels are the fishing industry's original CNC milled, one-piece aluminum, low-profile frame, built to last, it's built to fish. All Bates reels saltwater ready and good to go. You know I've got them on my boat. You should too. All reels, 3-year no BS warranty, and they mean that. And a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're dissatisfied, you will not be. I say it all the time. It is true. No bull, just baits.
Sunday on the way back, I did not take any of my normal shortcuts. I stayed in that little marked channel down here at Port O'Connor. There wasn't no way. It was daylight, and the towboat USA was heading out, and then I saw Sea Tow about an hour later.
Yeah, and when we went busy out, it wasn't minus 1.5. I think that's what you said, Dane. It was about -1. But still, I mean, yeah, that's a little cautionary tale too, to be careful. But same thing with you, Caleb. It sounds like you were pretty impressed with how that thing ran.
Oh yeah, and low. I've been using little side ramps, kind of just where I can, not a whole lot of people around, go do my thing, come back, get left alone. Man, New Year's Eve, I told people, like, we're going to Matagorda Harper. We need a lot of water to get this thing off the boat. And it's almost not doesn't have enough. Man, that tide was low.
Yeah, it was way out there. All right, so good transition from Scott there, talking about the drop offs and the deep holes and all that, and the very not a lot of fishable areas. Got a question about that, and I'm sure it was someone who was out there maybe after the front last week. And there's another one coming, so this should help our listeners. When sometimes there just isn't a lot of fishable places. Now, we all talk about, I know all three of you guys have talked about, especially Scott, like if there's some boats and some traffic, some waders, some kayaks, whatever, in a place that you sort of marked and wanted to get to, then you try to find similar conditions, so to speak, whether it's the water, the bay bottom or whatever, and go fish there. Sometimes you can't go fish there. And so here's the question. You guys are always great on questions like this one that I have. I know you've said when someone's in your spot, go to places with similar conditions, which is what I just said. Last week, the water was way out, and there were only 1 or 2 or 3 places that I knew of where the fish should be. How do you guys handle busy places? I try to be respectful of waders and other boats drifting, but I also wanted to fish and didn't have a lot of other options. Scott, I'm gonna start with you because this is something that you've talked about a lot, but I want to get the other guys' opinion as well. It's like, well, I mean, it's going to be crowded, but how do you handle that?
There's always other places that you can go to. I mean, go exploring on those days. Go find you something new. Just because there's a lot of boats there doesn't mean there's fish there. And you see it all the time. One or two boats stop, get out, start wading, and next thing you know, it's all crowded up because somebody saw somebody there. There's fish all over the place, especially when the water falls out like that, because all the fish that were in the backwaters and up shallow, they've all got to go to the deeper edge. And so anywhere you can find some deeper edge. Around here, there's miles and miles and miles of it. I see guys fishing the same exact places over and over again, but I branch out. I try to get away from other boats, other people. One of the biggest things this time of year is try to figure out. One of the things I do, try to figure out what the boat running lanes are for the airboats, because there's a bunch of them going out duck hunting, and I try to get into little coves and backwaters where they're not going to run across. They're out of the way. I know their pathways and know which way they're going to run, what their highways are, and I try to stay away from those. And that's how I've been finding all my tail and reds. The areas where they run through, those big old airboats vibrating through there, there's not much going on. But the out of the way places seem to be working pretty well.
Yeah. So Caleb, what about you? I know anything you can add to what Scott said, because that's good advice. But I know this past week when I was with BG out there, there's a lot of deep drop offs, but there's also some areas where there's some waders and it's spread out, and then there's some drifters, and there's just traffic. How do you handle that?
Man, if aside from guiding where I want to be, and tournament fishing where I want to be, I love an excuse to go try something new. I mean, absolutely love it. For example, I'll throw an example out there. I was trying to go into Matagorda West Bay. Tide was pretty low, running the diversion, and lo and behold, Grandpa and his kids were anchored right across the only cut that I could take to get out into West Bay in that particular set of circumstances. And I could have, jacked up and kind of got around him a little bit. It's narrow, but, laying the road, all that bullshit. But man, I was looking for an excuse, and I sight casted the edge of the diversion channel all day, and it was phenomenal. And now I have another tool in my belt, on that set of circumstances. Now I know, what, that's probably pretty good. Just like I think Scott said, go exploring. I mean, go exploring and be excited about it. Imagine if,
and confidence.
Imagine if it's so crowded you can't get into anywhere you want to fish, but you figure out where to go whenever it's like that. Man, the sky's the limit at that point, and those fish probably getting left alone.
And no matter how long, Dean, that you've been fishing, we found a nice little cut, a little deep. It was like 3 feet deep too, 3.5 feet deep, which is deep for where we fish. Just kind of doing what Scott and Caleb were talking about, but it gets crowded in our spot, man. How would you, if you want to get to a certain spot, how would you handle it?
I mean, I refuse to join in the crowded fishing areas. I mean, that's just, I'm just not going to do that. I don't want to infringe on other people's space. And so you kind of lead by example. If you do it to somebody else, you're going to get it done back in the end. But it's crazy that, like Scott mentioned, of all the miles and miles of the outside of the flats, and people tend to congregate in certain popular areas. And you can easily move down that shoreline. And I mean, don't get stuck on your go-to spots. I mean, both of the guys, everybody said it, explore a little bit, make it an opportunity, make it a positive instead of a negative, go out and see what you can find. You just got to be careful on that low tide, because you might find something you didn't want to find.
And I did some drifting because we got away from it. There wasn't a lot of boats on a Tuesday, but still,
I mean,
there was
part of the fun and the adventure of being out there is going exploring new areas.
Self-satisfaction.
I mean, and then whenever you do it and it pays off with a badass fish,
Yeah.
man, yeah, pat yourself on the back.
Sunday
Well,
was a great example on the way out. I had several spots in mind, and there was a boat on every one of them.
Mhm.
There was a boat with 4 waders out at one. There was another boat with 3 waders out at the next. There was a pole and skiff at the next one. I just went a little bit further down, and I turned into a section of shoreline where I don't normally pole it. It's just not,
Mhm.
it's not a real wide open grass flat. It's pretty narrow right up against the bank. Stopped, and it was solid tails from one end to the other.
Hmm.
Had not one of my normal stops, but it might be now.
Yeah.
I like going to places that all the smart people don't even try to go.
Mhm. Yeah. No, I know what you're saying.
New Year's Eve, my guy was like, "Man, I can't believe nobody else is back here." I said, "You
Yeah.
saw how hard we hit coming in, and you felt the stuff that wasn't even scary."
Yeah, I did tell BG one time we were making the cut, and it was one of those you were talking about, Dean. It didn't have any water on whatever day you were talking about, Thursday, but it had a little bit of water, and I did tell him. I said, "All right, hold on," and you just get that little zip, little pause. I knew it was sand, but he's like, "Whoa!" I was like, "Yeah, we're good. We're good now."
Once you've had your butt in a seat long enough to be able to fill that boat, stand up, and start
Yeah.
hydroplaning,
Yeah.
even if you're not driving, it's like, oh.
As long as it's not Shell, and I knew it wasn't Shell, I was like, "Oh, we'll be all right. We're good." But okay, so I think one of the things he wanted you guys to address, Caleb, I'm gonna start with you. You mentioned the tournament, and sometimes you want to be there or whatever. What is that? I think he's talking about etiquette. I think he's talking about etiquette. Waiters are there. Etiquette, Dean. I'm gonna ask you about drifting. Maybe there's a spot that you just feel like you have to be. I think that's where he's going. But what about when there's waiters there?
Man, I think every scenario has a different set of circumstances. I think every bay has a different set of rules. In Galveston, you can get a lot closer to each other than you can in Matagorda without getting yelled at. If there's a group of waiters and they're working one drain and there's another drain 50, 60 yards, and the rule I kind of put along with that is upwind of them, or okay, they're gonna have to turn around and walk into the wind a very good ways to get to that spot. I use that in my head a whole lot too. I don't think they're planning on fishing it if they went and set up downwind of it, stuff like that. It's a situational thing, and I don't think there's a set of rules to it. I've been within 15 yards of a poling skiff for a couple of hours in my tower boat, but he and I were able to work together, and we knew what we were doing with it and stuff. Where other times you probably shouldn't get within 200 yards of that thing. So I think if we laid out a set of rules, we're just setting somebody to get in trouble.
Yeah. And Scott and Dean, but I'm starting with Dean on the drifting part. This is one thing that I'm kind of, I guess, reassured, encouraging from the days of when I was in my 20s. There just seems to be a better etiquette with drifting. Like if somebody drifts, you start way behind them, you do your drift or whatever, or to the side or whatever, and let them finish, go back around, then you finish, go back around. It seems like there's a little better etiquette. Is that kind of your rule of thumb too?
And I don't mind drifting in the vicinity of other boats as long as everyone is patient. If they will just continue drifting, and you don't really want to get in front or behind of another drift. But if you're drifting alongside each other, within 50 or 100 yards, you're not affecting each other's fishing until somebody cranks up the boat and, runs either in front of you, around you, or behind you, or something like that. But I don't mind as long as everybody is being patient and giving it a fair shot, and running into a flat that you're going to drift, run way upwind around everybody and then set it up. Don't run through the middle of other people that are drifting.
That's what drives me nuts.
To go set up, or just in general, use a flat where other people are fishing just to shortcut when you could easily go in the intercoastal or around the outside and take at the most 5 minutes to go around, even less than 5 minutes. But that's, if everybody is patient and being quiet, you can really fish close to each other. I mean, that's, or if for guys that are anchored, if they come in and anchor up, avoid running in front of other people to get where you want to be, and then setting up and then being patient. You don't want to run in, 3 or 4 or 5 casts and say, oh, they ain't no fish here, bam, crank up and run when everybody else is being a little more methodical about what they're doing.
One thing, Scott, your thoughts on this, but one thing I do when I'm drifting, even though it's a perfect drift, perfect wind, all that stuff, I'll have my trolling motor in the water to maybe bump out in one direction or the other. As you're seeing, because some boats drift faster than others, or maybe there's one anchored or whatever. Just the common courtesy, put my trolling motor in the water.
Yeah, trolling motor helps a lot. It's not that hard to, as you're pulling up, don't be in such a hurry that you just got to go in there. If you see it's crowded, pull up and stop and just watch everybody and see how they're moving. It's not that hard to figure out which way the wind's blowing and which way they're drifting, and don't get in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
If you see a poling skiff poling down a shoreline downwind with the sun at his back, don't pull up 100 yards ahead of him.
Yeah.
And pull straight into the bank and everybody bail out and start waiting, and then get mad because the poling skiff pulls around you.
Mm-hmm.
That happens quite a bit around here. I'll pull between them and the bank, because most of them, they stop, they bail out, they walk out waist deep and they start chunking. And I'll just pull right up against the bank. And I get yelled at a lot for that. It's kind of crazy. I mean, I'm going.
They have no intention of going over there.
Yeah, I'm going behind them. I'm going slow and quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll usually even tell my guys, don't fish while we're going behind them. Wait till we get past them. And I just slip past them. Mm-hmm. That poling skiff is way quieter than people waiting. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is dead quiet. And guys sloshing along waiting, they're making more noise than I am poling. But yeah, it's just common sense. You just got to sit back, watch what's going on, use your common sense, and go in nice and quiet.
And it's crazy because right now we get kind of spoiled because there's not a lot of people, and I find at this time of year, people give each other much more space. There is more patience. There is more courtesy going on right now. I mean, I've been sitting on a shoreline, drop off somewhere. You see a boat coming, and it kind of looks like they're heading your way, and then they veer off and give you plenty of space.
Yeah.
At this time of year, that tends to be a little more common. But man, let spring break hit, and that goes straight out the window. And then all of summer, nothing matters. And this is the time of year you live for right now. I mean, it is another world out there. Weekdays in January are just amazing.
This time of year, you have a lot more of your seasoned guys out there. But if you roll up and get quiet and give it a minute, you'll have enough time, and they'll be able to hear you while you're asking them if they're catching anything. So, I mean, it could really pay off for you.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Yeah. Oh, I had a guy float up behind me one day. It scared me. It's kind of like Scott's poling skiff. He snuck up on my ass, and he was like 10 yards behind me. He said something. I almost dropped my rod. He was drifting. I was waiting. I turned around. I said, man, you've got 21 miles that way and 2 miles that way. Why are you right behind me? He said, I saw the fish. And I was like, well, I can't argue with that. That's perfectly logical.
I get it.
I'm getting a lot mellower in my old age, man. I was like,
look at you. You're evolving.
Quite the point you got there. All right.
Yeah.
I see where you're going with this.
You've heard Mark Nichols on the podcast, and you know he's caught more fish and changed the fishing game like few others. Mark and DOA Lures have everything you need and want on the water. That's what we use. DOALures.com is the website. Of course, you got the classic DOA shrimp, but top waters as well. I'm a big fan of the PT7. You see us using that all the time. That is DOA. Get to a retailer near you. They are all over. Or go to DOALures.com, and be sure to listen for Mark Nichols on this podcast. They have revolutionized the fishing industry, and they keep doing it. DOALures.com. I want to do one more quick one here. We're going to skip ahead the whooping cranes. We'll get to that next week, and the aggressive bite versus the non-aggressive bite. But I do want to get to this just because it was recency happened here. What are you most anal about on your boat while fishing? And like the reason I thought of this was, my little pea brain came up with this because we were fishing. He caught that redfish. And there's just a couple of drips of blood, got on the deck of the boat. Immediately, I got that little bag I keep a jacket in, dipped it into the water. You see me do this, Dean, and just started washing the blood up. Blood on the deck of the boat, to me, It's the bane of my existence because I know if it dries, I'm gonna have to clean it. That's one thing I'm anal about. A little bit anal about the ice chest lid, depending on the circumstances. But what's something like while you're fishing, you're just absolutely anal about, Caleb?
Man, I'm with you. Keeping the deck of my boat clean because, gosh, dog, it's a lot of work if you don't.
It's so
in fact,
fun.
as you were saying that, I was thinking to myself, I need to put it like one of them little brushes on the boat.
Mhm.
And I did it. I did it a lot on last week. Man, other than that, I'm pretty chill and easy going about stuff. But yeah, keeping the deck clean. I can't think of one thing that matters more to me than that.
Scott, you're next because I know this is something that Caleb does not do. And I'm not going to say I'm perfect about it, but I'm pretty good about it. Just popping the plastics and jig heads into the little taco tray that Parkoff made us is what I use on the console of my boat, and just leaving them there. I just cannot leave plastics and jig heads on the console of my boat.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't like lures laying around.
Mm-hmm.
And I want them put away. There's too many things that can happen on that. People step on them, they fly off the console when you're running. I like for them to be put away.
Yeah. Anything else?
That's really my main one. I think the blood on the boat, it power washes off pretty easy. It's usually not a big deal.
I hate it.
I mean, during the summer when we're out there on the beachfront and we're chasing those little ones on the jetties, chasing those little tarpon, and we get into a bunch of skipjacks, that's the only time I get a little anal about it then.
Or ladyfish.
That's what I mean. Skipjack, ladyfish, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
They're pooping and they're bleeding. I mean, that's all they do when you catch them.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do tend to wash the boat off a little more on that. Those things make a mess.
Dean, I've fished with you a lot. I don't know if there's anything, maybe I'm missing something you're really anal about on your boat.
The reason, because it's everything. It's not one thing. And it's funny because I never really thought about it. And then when I read this, and I was like, well, that's kind of weird that nobody's ever asked that. But I mean, I like everything and like lures, used lures, the used worms that get peeled off. I want all the trash in a bag in a nice, neat place. And another thing that I do that I find myself doing is, so the rods and the rod holders, I want the soft plastics to be together, the spinners together. I want the bait casters with the top waters together. My tackle bag has to be in its place, zipped up. I just like things neat and orderly. Maybe to a little bit.
That's not anal, that's OCD.
Okay, yeah, OCD is.
And and this is coming from an OCD person. Caleb, go ahead.
Man, I'm just happy if all the rods are in rod holders. Hey, my number one, and I haven't had that in a while because I really haven't had the party groups in a long time. I don't really drink on the boat. I don't care if you do, but man, if you put that stale, empty ass can back in my cooler and make my Gatorade smell like stale beer, you're going to have a problem. I can't stand that. That's just nasty.
Man, in my cooler, I keep all the water bottles stacked up on one side.
They are lined up. They are lined up perfectly. I can attest to that.
Just weird that way.
One very frustrating day was when I fished a tournament with Caleb, and he went through every lure in my box. Just these reds that were being a little particular. We could see them and we couldn't catch them, and he literally was like tying a lure on, cutting it off after 3 or 4 casts, and throwing it up on the console. It was everything I could do not to throw him off the boat.
Hey, and Parkoff says the Gen 2 taco trays are coming soon. Sign me up. Those things are awesome. I got 2 of them. I have 2 of them on mine. I have the personalized one.
Now too. I got genius.
It's genius. Shout out to Parkoff.
Genius.
Yeah. All right. What would Scott do? What would Caleb do? What would Dean do? Let's get to it. No, I mentioned another front. Scott, I'm going to start with you. You're generally more prepared, but beyond that, you were mentioning earlier, the front's not going to be, quite as severe as the last one. So what are you thinking? What would you do?
I'd get out there Friday. Take Friday off and get out there Friday. I mean, it's temperatures in the high 60s, 70s all week. We got these low tides. The fish are moving up on the flats. They're doing their thing. Got almost no wind on Friday. It's less than 10 all day. Saturday, I'm showing 27 gusting to 34 at daylight. So, and it's
Ouch.
northwest. So what little water we have is going to even get pushed out more.
Mhm.
Sunday, it lightens up quite a bit and be in the 50s. They might slide back up there on the flats. Not going to be real sunny from what it's showing. Supposed to be a little bit of rain maybe. But I would think that over the weekend, Saturday would not be the day that I would go.
Mhm.
And then we're too late in the year for the drains. If it was earlier in the fall, I'd say that's a perfect drain day. It's got
Yeah.
a northwest wind with outgoing tide. Low tide is right at daylight down here, but low tide's going to be 0.2, and then we're going to have a 27 gusting to 34 out of the northwest. So
Dang.
count on that being about a -1,
Mhm.
somewhere in that range, -1, 1.5. But Sunday it should be coming on back in a little bit. The winds slack up, and I think the fish will just go right back to what they've been doing. It's not that cold.
So Dean, my granddaughter wants to go, quote, real fast on Hawpaw's boat. She wants to get back on my boat, so we might be bringing her down. And then again, we might not because of what Scott just said. But Saturday afternoon, Sunday, it's not awful. Temperatures up into the 60s, at least what I'm looking at. What are you looking at? What would
Keep
you
telling yourself that, and bring her a little jacket and a little banky, and wrap her up and go fast.
do? And go fast.
Don't plan on doing it for very long.
No, I think she wants to go on a boat ride because she did it at the Feeding Frenzy and has been talking about it. That was in September. And been
Hey,
talking about it.
if you go into the wind, you won't even have to go fast, and she'll think you're going real fast.
So he mentioned Sunday. Is that your day as well, Dean? If you had to get out,
Any day but Saturday. Sunday's still going to be a little breezy, and the day after something dramatic like that, it's going to be challenging. Tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday looks great.
yeah.
Caleb, but yeah, it's
ahead.
unfortunate that it's going to peg on Saturday.
Well, we might take her another day, but we're thinking about it.
I got one more ranch trip this weekend, and then we are done with that for a while.
All right, so maybe we'll take her next weekend. We'll talk about it. Sounds like mid-coast, Matagorda, Caleb, might be some waiting weather.
Yeah, Friday looks like it's going to be a decent day. It's the best day of the weekend anyway. Wading should be good. Drifting, plastics, quarter-ounce jig heads, kind of deep. If that's not what's in store for you, then fishing the edges of the rivers, intercoastals. There's been redfish in the intercoastal. There's been trout and reds in the rivers. There's been with these low tides, redfish in the diversion. So there's plenty for you to do on Friday. If you have to go Saturday, you're going to need to hide in a diversion or a river or something like that. But Friday looks kind of like a dealer's choice. Do what you want to do sort of day to me.
All right, let's get out there. All right, boys, we talked about getting a hold of you and good tipping and all that earlier, so we'll get out of here. But just a reminder to subscribe wherever you get your podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, and, of course, YouTube channel as well. Just search for Bite Me Fishing or my name, and you can find it there. And the dry fits and stickers and caps, so all at ogsauce.com. You guys are the best. Great show, man. I had a lot of fun. I know our listeners did as well. You guys have a great week, great weekend. Catch them up. We'll talk to you next time.
Man, if you think Dean was excited he has a cache on his computer, wait till he finds out it has cookies in it.
Accept all cookies.
Except all.